There we go. Three, two, one. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are listen to this. I want to welcome you guys to the Recruiting Academy podcast. I'm your host, Coach Holman, joined by the beloved Coach Hughes, man. Coach Hughes, man, you know you got to get this episode started with the nugget of the day. What you got for us today, Coach Hughes?
And my nugget of the day is biggest thing is to watch what you do online. Be careful of who you meet and who you talk to. It's
Mm.
important to know that not everyone is up to good stuff. And you can get yourself in a situation you don't want to be in. Even though you did, if you're innocent, not innocent, whatever, it's still the look of what goes on. You young men getting into college, now with these endorsements, yeah, better watch what you're doing. Uh, girls probably the same thing. I mean, I'm sure girl. Now, I haven't read a lot about girl endorsements yet, but I'm sure there will be. Right now it's college football, and we were just talking about the kid from Texas bringing up the Texas strength to Ohio State. So, I mean, He's not even a senior in high school yet, unless school started already. And he's probably going to be a multimillionaire by the time he even is a freshman in college. You don't think he's not going to get a lot of fan mail and a lot of people online? Just be careful of who you talk to and what you do and how you do it. I mean, the innocent things could look bad. Other than that, I'll just stay with my usual thing. See you on Twitter and make sure you have your mailbox. So other than that, Coach, what do you think?
Man, I think that's great, man. I'm gonna hit that topic that you talked about there with the mailbox open here in a second. But just to kind of talk about the kid, Quinn Ewers, I think is how you pronounce his last name, from Ohio State. It's just the fact of the matter is that yeah, the kid is really, he's just now going to become a senior at the in the high school level. He basically forwent his senior to enroll early at Ohio State. So yeah, the kid is signed a couple different one agent deal and then one marketing deal, which a lot of times is how the organizations, I mean, some organizations do it in regards to, one's representing him and the legal ramification, and the others, handling his marketing and stuff like that. So I know he had one endorsement deal, so it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. And one thing about being in one of those limelight positions like quarterback, wide receiver, running back, sometimes even defense and defense. I mean, but for the most part, let's say just a quarterback, wide receiver, somebody that has the ability to touch the ball every play outside the center. Sorry, center, if you don't get any love here, but whether that be in basketball or point guard. In basketball, I think you could be a star from any position, especially if you can put up points and be able to do big things, both men's and women's. Soccer, you can do the same thing as well. So if you're in the limelight and you're in a position on the field, you have opportunities to capitalize on different things in regards to name, image, and likeness as you progress to college. And like you said, I know right now we're seeing a big trend with athletes more so in the football realm, but I think as things start to play out, you'll start seeing females and women's gymnastics and track and field and stuff like that come to the forefront. But just now, since football season is heating up, you're starting to see a lot of things going on with football. So and to circle back to one of the things that Coach Hughes talked about in regards to make sure you're being smart about what you're putting out there. Imagine if this kid went through and just had a bunch of stuff on his Twitter account or whatever it may be. Just a lot of negative stuff. It wouldn't be these opportunities. Or maybe he did have this stuff, but I don't see anything floating around there right now about any of this stuff. So just make sure that you're at the end of the day being responsible with everything that you're doing. He already has almost 30,000 followers on Twitter, and I'm not for sure about Instagram, but he's posting, he's posting content pretty much. It looks like every almost every day. almost every day. So, you know, take notice to some of the stuff that's out there. Like I said, he posts every day, retweets stuff every day. So um, just uh, just make sure you're doing everything that you can to maximize that, but also you're putting respectful stuff out there, so that way you're not not put in a situation where you can't capitalize off your name, image, and likeness. Which is, I think in the last week of the month, which is August, we're gonna dive into the business of college athletics and kind of preview a little bit, the next segment for the month of September, because I got a bone to pick. I wouldn't even just say a bone, but I got something to pick big time with this name, image, and likeness stuff, and so I got something to pick at the end of the day. So we'll get to that later this month. But one last thing before we get to our topic today, just the fact that I actually saw and I meant to tag you this and tag you in this, Coach Hughes. It was a tweet from a coach from the University of, oh, here we go, I got it right here. Andy Wang is the assistant director of player personnel at the University of Kentucky. All right. I know of Andy. He worked out at I believe he was out at Bowling Green. So, but he posted a tweet. This is what his tweet said. 2023s, it's almost your time, and almost your time means September 1st. Word of advice: make your tweet handle, your name, and your DMs open. Right. So one thing Coach Hughes talks about a lot is those two things: is having your real name, but then also having your DMs open. Right. So this is coming from a Division I. He's at the University of Colorado. He's coming from a Division I program. He's telling you, make sure you got your DM open. That goes across the board for all sports, right? It goes across the board for all sports. So please make sure, athletes, that you have your DMs open and that people can find you, right? And one thing that you want to do, whatever sport you're playing, try to have a picture of yourself as your profile picture, so that way people can find you. And here's another tip. All right, we were talking to actually a women's basketball player earlier today, and she did not have her clips of her playing basketball pinned to the top, right? It was just kind of like some other stuff. Like, make sure you're like having everything organized, putting your film at the top, even if it's a couple clips of you, put it at the top, so then that way you can have it all together, man. Coach, you got anything to add to that? I know I went long-winded there. You got anything to add to that? Okay, no, that's cool. That's cool. So no, just to reiterate what basically what we were talking about there
Yeah.
was.
What was
Oh,
I
yeah,
saying?
okay. I thought you said no.
No, what's going on? I'm sorry. I had
No,
to.
I was I was asking what was did you have anything to add to me what I was talking about in regards to this Andy Wang from the University of Colorado, assistant director of player personnel, in regards to finding them their real name, and then having their real name on Twitter, and then having their mailbox open. Did you have anything to add to that?
No, I just something we've been telling them since, I don't know, the dawn of time. I mean, we understand what's going on, and now you got a Division I guy, and it's important because there's rumors with Colorado. I mean, right now they're in the Pac-12, but heck, they may be heading our way into the Big Ten. So you just don't know. You don't know where you're
You
going to
don't
be.
know.
You don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, just leave your mailbox open.
Yeah, I want to see if I can screenshot this and send it to you, Coach U, so that way we can post it, because this is yeah, I got a screenshot, so I'll end up sending it to you. But this is what it's about. You know what I'm saying? So proof, social proof. We're not talking about, Coach Hughes is not talking about shenanigans. He's talking about what he's talking about, and it's the truth. Have your mailbox open, or have your mailbox open, and then also have your real name, so that way coaches can find you. So that's a great topic, and great segue into. We've been talking about this topic for the last few weeks, and it's recruiting calendar. What was actually called the recruiting periods is what we call it here home athletic performance. But we're on the last 2 weeks. Just to kind of recap, we touched on last week. We touched on the contact period, and then the week before that we touched on the dead period. And just to kind of give everybody a run through that just maybe joining us, what those two previous ones consist of. So the dead period is just a period when there's not permission to make in-person recruiting, contact evaluation on or off Members Institute campus. We were on that dead period for pretty much the last year and a half. We just got off the dead period. Depending on your sport, literally this summer, and a lot of teams and sports, depending on what sport you play, are back on the dead period because right now there's nothing going on. And then we also talked about the contact period, and that's basically just when they're able to contact you permissibly, to the part of the athletic department is able to make in-person, off-campus recruiting contacts and evaluation. That typically happens during the school year, during your school year, and depending on if their school is in if the sport is in season. So usually that's when that happens. So what we're going to talk about tonight is the quiet period. So the quiet period is a period of time when it's permissible to make in-person recruiting contacts only on the member's institution, not in person, off-campus recruiting contacts that can be made during the quiet period. So what that means is that you can go on their campus, but they cannot, they can't come to you, right? So you can go to them, but they can't go to you. And that typically happens, during the school year, but it also can happen during the time that program or sport may be in season. So just make sure at the end of the day that you guys are going to the NCAA website and checking this information out. If you're too lazy to do that, we will post it. I don't want to say too lazy, but we're gonna post a link in at the bottom of this video on YouTube for you guys to go back and check and see what you need to do. But I was looking at one thing I want to touch on before we get off this topic, because next week we'll finish up with the topic of the evaluation period. But I want to talk about NCAA women's basketball recruiting calendar and how, we talk about, doing stuff early. I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown of some of the stuff that, if you're a women's basketball athlete, this is something that you need to do. Got to pay attention to this information, right? So, because you have anything to add that before I get to this?
No, not really. No,
Okay.
Listen there.
Yeah, so it lays up this pretty much is, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, what you can do if you're a 2-year college player, a 4-year college player, and then evaluation and contacts. Okay, so just check this information out here, right? So, your freshman, sophomore year, they say recruiting materials, right? You need to do questionnaires, you need camp information, NCAA materials, and then non-athletic institutional publications only, which just means basically, if you're looking at a school that does not offer any athletic aid or something like that, just do your research, all right? So this is stuff that goes on your freshman and sophomore year, all right? Telephone calls enabled by the individual at her expense. So that basically means that, hey, you may contact member institution by telephone at any time, right? Now, ideally, they may or may not answer, right? But you have the ability to do that. And then this is a big one, all right? Unofficial visits may occur at any time, right? So if you want to go to a game, you want to go to a basketball practice, you have to be in contact with the organization. You can take as many unofficial visits as you want, right? And it's good to take unofficial visits early. One of the keynotes we talked about with the young man we had on last week on the workshop, he said, hey, my brother's getting recruited by schools, right? And one of the biggest advice we gave him was what, Coach Hughes?
Biggest advice? You're asking about the biggest advice we gave you?
Yeah, last week he said his brother was getting recruited. You remember when we told him about his brother?
Yeah. The biggest advice we gave him is, coattail him. Go along with him. Behave yourself when you get there. Act like you got some manners, and meet everyone that you can meet. It's important to make those connections. So, because they've already met him, he'll get all he has to do. They've met him. They know who he is. he's wrote the check. All he's got to do is go pay the bill, so to speak. And that was something we talked about last week is got an opportunity. Just
Yeah.
don't blow it.
Yeah. And no. Yeah, coach out, right? So if you have a teammate, no matter what sport you play, that's getting recruited by a school, and you're an underclassman, you should go. You should go and see, even if you are in the same grade, go and see, go on a visit with the kid or your teammate, and get familiar with that coaching staff, because you never know. And we talked about this before, Coach Hughes, where a coach, and we talk about this actually in the ebook. A coach may be at one place today, and tomorrow may be somewhere. Did you want to touch on that real fast, Coach Hughes?
Yeah, I mean, I know some athletes that, a coach recruits them and then the staff gets fired or, they move on. And I think a lot of times colleges try to keep someone from the staff, but a lot of times they don't. So, if you're going, and I think this is an important lesson for a recruit. If you're going to play college sports, make sure your athletics are first and foremost. For the simple reason, if you're going to go play a sport, just to play a sport, and that person leaves, then the whole dynamics change. But if you're going for an education and you're going for a certain topic or a certain major, everything else isn't really going to matter because you already know, like, you're there for your education. But
Yeah,
coaches get fired. I mean, things happen. I mean, it happens all the time.
yeah. So your message was that make sure that academics are first. You said athletics. I was like, I wonder if he caught
No,
that
no,
first.
academics. I'm sorry. Yeah, make sure academics are first. Glad you caught that. A little vernacular to me, but
They'd be like, "Well, Coach Hughes, you said athletics first." No. Student is in front of athletics is one of the key words that Coach Hughes talks about. And just to continue into this thing with this women's basketball, it says junior year recruiting materials begin September 1st, right? So we're talking about September 1st right now in this podcast. We've been talking about it for the last couple minutes. September 1st is when a lot of juniors are going to start receiving those phone calls. Make sure your inboxes are open, right? Off-campus contact beginning March 1st through the day before the official start of the WBCA convention commencement. PSA. People might say, what does PSA mean? It means prospective student athlete, all right? Prospective athlete enhanced educational institutional resolution subject to recruiting calendar. Check your recruiting calendar, okay? And then telephone calls and electronic correspondence. All forms of private communication permitted, okay? Unlimited beginning September 1st, except during the July evaluation period. I'll repeat that again. For your junior women's basketball, okay, if you're a high school women's basketball recruit, listen to this. All forms of private communication permitted. All forms of private communication permitted, okay? Unlimited beginning September 1st, okay? Unlimited beginning September 1st. I'm going to say that one more time for y'all that's in the back, okay? All forms of private communication are permitted, okay? All forms, all right? That means text messages. That means it might be FaceTime, whatever it means. This is regarding women's basketball now. You got to go back and check your calendar. I know a lot of that was going on for some of the other sports, particularly football, during COVID when they had to shut down. They could reach out and FaceTime and stuff like that. But if you're an athlete and September 1st, you should be doing this anyway, right? You should be doing this. If you're a senior, right, you should be doing this now, right? You should be having FaceTime calls with your coach. That's why it's important. We talk about when you're going to these college visits, don't just go, take pictures with the jerseys on, so like that. Get these coaches contact, personal cell phone number. And typically, a lot of times, let me say this, not to kind of just say, okay, well, you're not going just to take. A lot of times, if you're going on these visits and you're getting exclusive treatment, you probably got their cell phone numbers already, right? So ideally, but you want to strengthen that relationship. You want to build that rapport with the coach. So make sure you're taking the time. Like, whoa, what do I talk about? When you first get a coach number, you should, hey, coach, can we hop on a FaceTime and talk? Talk whatever about the position I could be potentially playing when I get to the school or whatever it may be. And then the last thing we'll talk about here. Well, I got two more things here. The official visits, and we talked about this, I believe, a couple podcasts ago, probably a couple months ago. Official visits, maximize of 5 during high school enrollment. Okay. Permissible starting Thursday, following NCAA women's basketball championship game. So that's basically in the springtime. So right before you're leading into your senior year, they allow you to. But the thing is, you have to be registered with the NCAA clear eligibility sim before you do that. And then senior year, pretty much recruiting all individuals to sign a national letter of intent, the institution in the offer, and then as receive a financial deposit in response to its offer admission. The athlete, the individual is no longer subject to the restrictions of NCAA bylaws 13.1, so like that. So go and do your research, man. Look at this. Go and do your research here. All right, go and do your research. This is a 2-pager, kind of giving a brief outline of what things are. And then a quick thing, one last thing. We're gonna get to this evaluation period next week. But one thing about women's basketball, it says during the July evaluation period, an institution basketball coach may attend institution basketball camps and or non-institutional organized events. So camps, leagues, tournaments, festivals that are certified. Evaluations at non-scholastic events and non-institutional camps or clinics that don't occur that occur on a Division I campus are not permitted. So basically what that means is that, they can go to like institution, where they can have organized events, whether that might be an AU tournament or something like that, and then but they cannot go to some place that occur where it's not on Division I campus. So as you think about going to colleges and getting exposure to that, make sure you get out the camps, and also go to those third-party camps to get reps. Right, we all need reps. Coach, what else you got? Anything else for me before we close this thing out, man? This is a little shorter podcast, but it was a quick hitter with a bunch of information. You got anything else to add this evening, man?
No, but you did bring up a good point, which I'll add real quick, is that, we do all sorts of sports, and we always tell the football kids to make sure they get the reps. It's no different in baseball or anywhere else. Make sure you get in, get your reps, get your stretching in. With baseball, make sure you get your batting practice in. And the one advice I do want to give baseball and softball batters: name one major league batter that hits over 500. Yeah, there isn't one. So if you strike out a couple times, it's no big deal. So don't get don't get upset about it. And that, Coach, I mean, that's what I got. Hopefully everybody has a great evening.
No, absolutely, man. Well, listen, make sure you guys click like, subscribe, so that way when we drop more videos, you have availability. Make sure you guys check out our sponsors, www.holmanathleticperformance.com, for information on recruiting and evaluations. We're doing evaluations, by the way. Actually, we're getting ready. It's the kickoff of high school football, so we're doing some player evals, breaking down some film. So if you're an athlete that plays, baseball, softball, basketball, whatever it may be, when it comes around time for you to tap in and see what we got going on, make sure you head over to the website, www.holmanathleticperformance.com. Also, as we get ready and geared up for camps in the off season, make sure you check out www.holmanapfoundation.com. That way to get tap in for camps and information like that. So make sure you guys tap in and stay updated, man. But we appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to this podcast as we listen, man. We appreciate you guys. We love your support. We thank you guys for rocking with us, and we look forward to doing another workshop probably in the next couple of weeks, man. But God bless, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Take care.